This is the journey of Leo's life, a path that quietly teaches us something profound. Sometimes, life brings us moments we never ask for, yet they arrive anyway. And when they do, running away isn't the answer. What matters is facing them with courage and grace. This is the story of Christmas in August. The story opens with a young man named Leo, peacefully asleep. As he wakes, he heads straight to the hospital, where he gently cheers up a sick child with a warm smile. From there, Leo visits his old school, the place where he once studied. He swings playfully on the bars like a child, letting himself relive those innocent moments. But soon, fatigue sets in, and he quietly sits down. As he rests, memories flood in. He reflects on how, as a child, even after all the other kids had gone home, he would stay behind in that very playground, thinking about his mother. She had passed away. Leo shares a quiet truth. Just as his mother left this world, one day, each of us will also leave it behind. From here, Leo rides to his studio. He's a photographer, and this studio is his own. Suddenly, he receives a call. His friend's father has passed away. Leo attends the gathering, and when he returns to the studio, he notices a girl waiting outside. Her name is Noah. She's come to get some photos printed from negatives. She asks Leo how long it will take. Leo gently replies that he can't print them right now and asks if she could come back later. But Noah insists it's urgent. She steps inside the studio, places the negatives on the counter, and says again, "This is really important to me." Then she quietly walks out. Leo looks at the negatives, then glances outside. He sees Noah standing under a tree, waiting. A few moments later, Leo steps out and brings Noah an ice cream. He tells her that his morning hadn't gone well, which is why he initially refused her request. Noah asks how long it will take to get the photocopies. Leo assures her it won't take long. The next morning, Leo stops to fill up his scooter with gas. As he waits, he notices Noah sitting in a car nearby. He quietly acknowledges her presence with a gentle smile, then heads back to his studio. Soon, a group of young boys arrive at the studio. They're holding a school group photo, and within that photo are the girls they secretly admire. They've come to have those girls' faces enlarged and printed separately. Interestingly, these boys have never actually spoken to the girls they like. Still, their excitement quickly turns into playful chaos as they begin arguing over whose favorite girl should be printed first. The scuffle escalates, and Leo steps in to break up the fight. Coincidentally, Noah is at the studio that day for a different errand. She watches Leo calmly handle the situation and can't help but laugh. She asks him, "What was all that about?" Leo smiles and says, "At this age, boys do things like this. It's natural." Later that evening, as Leo rides home, he spots a familiar face, a girl walking down the street. It's not just anyone. She's his ex-girlfriend, someone he was once engaged to. Though they've gone their separate ways, the moment is heavy. She sees Leo too, but chooses to walk past without acknowledging him. Leo turns his scooter around and gently approaches her. He asks, "When did you come back to town?" She replies that she's only been here a few days. Leo tells her, "You haven't changed at all." She responds, "Neither have you." With that, she walks away. Watching her go, it's clear there's a quiet sadness lingering in her life, something unspoken but deeply felt. The following morning, Leo is riding the bus when he notices Noah arguing with a car owner on the street. He quickly realizes she's a parking ticket agent. That explains why she's been visiting his studio so frequently, asking him to print photos. Whenever someone parks illegally, she takes pictures of their vehicles and gets them printed as evidence. Later, while Leo is working in his studio, she shows up again, this time holding a camera. She asks, "Can you fix this?" Leo says yes. She looks exhausted and quietly settles onto the couch. As she rests, the two begin talking. Noah asks, "How old are you?" Leo replies, "I'm in my late 20s. She smiles and says, "So you're almost 30. Why haven't you gotten married?" Leo playfully responds, I have 2 kids. Noah laughs and says, that can't be true. Your clothes say you're definitely unmarried. Leo bursts into laughter. There's something about these moments. Whenever Leo talks to Noah, he feels a quiet joy. Slowly, something begins to form between them. It's not loud or dramatic, but a gentle bond starts to grow. That evening, Leo is shown having dinner at home with his father, his sister, his sister's husband, and their daughter. This is Leo's family. It's where he lives. But even in the warmth of that dinner table, there's a subtle sadness that lingers on his face, something he carries quietly, without saying a word. The next morning, Leo spots Noah again. She's carrying a heavy bundle of documents in her hands. Leo rides up to her and asks where she's headed. She replies, to the district office. Leo offers her a ride on his scooter. As they ride, he gently asks, don't you have a boyfriend? Noah responds with quiet certainty, I don't like boyfriends at all. Leo drops her off and returns to his shop. Just then, his ex-girlfriend arrives. They begin talking. She opens up about her husband, how he drinks excessively and often speaks to her harshly. The conversation drifts into memories of their past. She asks Leo why he never got married. Leo jokes, I was waiting for you. She then brings up something more serious. She's heard that Leo's health is deteriorating. Leo laughs it off and says, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm perfectly fine. Later, Leo is shown riding the bus. As he stares out the window, his thoughts turn inward. He reflects on how love fades with time. There was a time when they could sit together for hours, and now, even a few minutes feel strained. She had even asked him to take down the photo he'd once displayed of her in his studio. Leo heads straight to the hospital for a checkup. It's clear now, his health truly is declining. That evening, Leo meets up with a close friend. They drink heavily at a bar, sharing laughter and old stories. As they step outside, Leo tells his friend, I want more to drink. His friend refuses, but Leo insists. The friend asks, why should I let you drink more? Leo replies, because I'm going to die very soon. The words hit hard. His friend, overwhelmed with emotion, pushes Leo and accuses him of lying. But eventually, he agrees to one more drink. The two head off to another bar, laughing and singing along the way. In the background, Leo's voice echoes. He says, I've finally learned how to laugh at the truth, but I don't know how many more nights I have left to drink with my friend. Next, we see Leo and his friend inside a police station. They've had far too much to drink, and that's why they've been brought in. Leo loses control. He starts shouting loudly, his voice echoing through the room. It's as if all the emotions he's been suppressing, feelings he hasn't been able to share with anyone, suddenly burst out in front of everyone. He yells, he cries, and his friend gently tries to calm him down. The following morning, Leo's friend calls to check on him. Leo says he doesn't remember anything from the night before. Meanwhile, Leo and Noah's friendship continues to grow. She visits his studio often, they share coffee, and Leo begins taking several portraits of her. There's a quiet comfort in their time together. After Noah leaves one day, a family arrives at the studio for a group photo session. Among them is an elderly woman. The family requests a solo portrait of her as well, so that when she passes away, they'll have a photo to place on the wall in her memory. It's a sobering moment. This photo is meant to be used after her death, adorned with a garland. That evening, as Leo sits in his studio watching the rain fall outside, the same elderly woman returns. She tells Leo that the photo he took earlier wasn't good enough. She wants the picture that will be displayed after her death to be beautiful. She asks, can you take again? Leo gently replies, of course, I'll take your photo. She hesitates and says, I don't have any money. Leo smiles and assures her, I won't charge you anything. And then, with quiet care, he captures a truly beautiful portrait of her. The next day, Leo reconnects with childhood friends, people he once studied with. They spend quality time together, laughing and reminiscing. Deep down, Leo knows his life is nearing its end. But instead of locking himself away in sorrow, he chooses to live every remaining moment fully. He wants to embrace joy, not grief. At home, Leo tries to teach his father how to use the TV remote, something his dad has never learned. Though his father struggles to grasp it, Leo patiently writes out step-by-step instructions on paper, hoping it'll help. Meanwhile, Leo and Noah's friendship grows even deeper. They spend time together in his studio, sharing meals, sipping drinks, and planning a ride for the next day. When that day comes, they enjoy the outing thoroughly, laughing and soaking in the moment. Later, they visit Leo's old school. There, the two run together across the grounds, like kids rediscovering joy. Their bond begins to shift. What started as friendship now quietly blossoms into something more tender. That night, as they walk home, Leo shares a story from his time in the military. He recalls being in a tent with a junior officer when a strange smell filled the air. Suspicion hung between them until they discovered the source, a dead body nearby. Noah listens intently, visibly shaken. She tells Leo, "I don't think I'll ever be able to walk this path alone again." As they continue walking, she gently holds his hand. The next morning, Leo is seen in his studio, taking photos of the machine he uses to print pictures. He carefully writes notes explaining how to operate it. Just like he did with the TV remote, he's preparing these instructions for his father. Leo knows he won't be around much longer, and he wants to make sure his dad can manage things after he's gone. That night, his father watches him closely and senses something isn't right. Leo's health is clearly declining. On the other side of the story, Noah is shown lost in thoughts of Leo. Every little thing about him now feels precious to her. Somewhere deep in her heart, she's come to accept that she's in love with him. But the next day, she receives unexpected news. She's being transferred, and she'll have to leave town next week. Wanting to share this with Leo, she heads to his studio. But when she arrives, the doors are closed. She waits for a long time, hoping he'll show up. What she doesn't know is that Leo is in the hospital. Noah writes a heartfelt letter to Leo and slips it through the door of his studio. The next day, the studio remains shut. She stands outside again, waiting, unsure why Leo isn't coming. She writes more letters, each one filled with emotion, and leaves them inside. But there's no reply, no sign of Leo. The silence begins to weigh heavily on her. That evening, while out with friends at a club, she steps into the restroom, and tears quietly fill her eyes. Later, she returns to Leo's studio, overwhelmed by emotion. She picks up a stone and breaks a glass window. Tomorrow, she has to leave. Her transfer is final. And the last time she saw Leo, it was a moment that felt deeply intimate. In that quiet encounter, without saying much, they had shared everything. A few days pass, and Leo is discharged from the hospital. He returns to his studio and notices the glass window has been shattered. As he steps inside, he finds a stack of letters, each one written by Noah. Through these letters, he learns that Noah has been transferred and is no longer in town. Leo visits their mutual friends and asks for Noah's new address. He travels to the location where she's now posted. Sitting quietly in a coffee house, he watches her from a distance. Noah has embraced her new life. She's focused, calm, and carries no visible burden. No sign of distress that might suggest she's struggling because of him. Perhaps she's accepted the truth, just as Leo once did with his first love. Without meeting her, Leo returns to his studio. He pulls out an old photo album filled with pictures from childhood to the present. As he flips through the pages, he revisits forgotten memories, moments that shaped his life. Then, just like the elderly woman who once came to have her final portrait taken, Leo sets up his camera and takes a photo of himself, one that will be the last image in his album. His face shows no fear, no regret. He has accepted every truth life has placed before him. After this moment, we see Leo's photo framed, signaling that he has passed away. He's left this world, and just as he had hoped, his father now takes care of the studio. We see his father stepping out of the shop, carrying on Leo's legacy. Later, Noah returns to the studio. She notices a large framed photo of herself displayed on the front glass, something Leo had prepared for her. Seeing it fills her with quiet joy. As she begins to walk away, we hear Leo's voice reading a letter he had written for her. In a letter, he says, "I've always known that feelings of love fade over time, just like old photographs. But you'll always remain in my heart. You were there with me in my final moments. Thank you and goodbye." The story closes with a view of Leo's studio. People come and go, but one thing is missing: Leo himself. This beautiful Korean story teaches us one of life's greatest lessons. Sometimes we face situations we simply cannot control. And in those moments, it's not about resisting. It's about accepting and moving forward. Leo knew his time was limited, yet he chose not to let sorrow consume him. Instead, he taught his father everything he would need to know after Leo was gone. He gave Noah the space to grow, knowing that letting go was the kindest thing he could do. When Leo learned about his illness, he had two choices: drown in grief or live each remaining day like any ordinary person would. He chose the second because deep down, he had accepted that every human is a traveler. Some leave today, others tomorrow, but eventually we all must go. What makes this film truly special is its honesty. There's no melodrama, just raw, heartfelt truth portrayed exactly as life unfolds. So that was the story of Christmas in August, a quiet masterpiece that doesn't shout, but whispers truths we all carry. Leo's journey reminds us that life isn't always about fighting fate, but about embracing it with grace. He didn't let sorrow define him. He chose to live, to teach, to love, and finally, to let go. If this story touched your heart even a little, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you've ever faced a moment where acceptance felt harder than resistance, tell us in the comments. We'd love to hear your story. Until next time, stay curious and keep watching stories that stay with you long after the screen fades to black.